welcome back. Right, so we're continuing on with the next stage of refurbishment of that horrible top archery thing, which if I can be bothered to remind you, I'll put an image in here. Right, so what we're doing now is actually we're going to swap glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing. We are going to is this the right check that I've got my right glasses on. Yep, they're the right ones. Right, we're going to continue building up the handle area and reinforcing using whipping around the body of the bow. Now I've done some whipping already around the sears and places like that. It's not brilliant, but it's serviceable. I'm getting a little bit better as I go on, but it's just being a little bit problematic because I can't really see where it's going. But we're going to continue. Now when you're doing whipping around a bow, you start, the thing to remember is whipping always goes uphill. That means if, like this bow, you have a handle area which goes from thin to thick, start at the bottom, work your way uphill. If you don't, you will have problems with it starting to separate out. As you come down the hill, it'll start to separate out and you will get gaps, big gaps, and you won't be able to control them. If you're going up the hill, it's a little bit more controllable. But we'll show you. Right, so the way to start it off, there are loads of ways of doing serving, but the way I do it, which I think is about the easiest way to do it, is you pull about 4 or 5 inches of the serving material off, and then you find a point on the bow, which is very narrow, which you can use it to lock the serving the whipping in place. So what you're going to do is you're just going to see how I've got that held in place with my thumb, and then you're going to initially just take the whipping, the cord around the bow, and you're going to overlap that piece you're holding in place with your thumb. Don't let it slip, but hold it in place. Trying not to catch the tripod of the camera with the end of the bow at the same time. Come around again. Try and use the cord to lock it in place and add another turn onto it. Trying not to do that. So basically, once you've got 2 or 3 wraps around, locking that tail end in place, you can actually start to make your life a little bit easier. By turning the bow around instead of the cord. Now, it's better if you've got a bigger place to, see I'm going all over the place already. You've got to, see I'm trying to watch where the cord is going at the same time as turning the bow, and I'm not having a great deal of success at the moment. Right, so each time you do it, get off. Don't get confused with this tail that's hanging off. Try and keep that above the way. You're going to cut that off soon, so don't worry about it too much. And turn, just so you're just continuing and building up a steady increase in the form of a coil around. Coil's not a word, but you're basically wrapping progressively as you go around. Now if you can see what you're doing, this is actually quite an easy task. Problem comes when, like me, you're determined to try and do as much as you possibly can. Now see, I'm going off the course again already. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to just keep going and keep going. And at some point, so I could do a bigger workspace. When I get to my new house, I will have a bigger workspace. So I'm going to keep going. The film will cut every now and again, and it will appear to jump, and it will go from having half an inch of whipping to having an inch of whipping to having 3/4 of an inch of whipping to maybe being finished. So I'm just going to shut up and I'm going to get on. But before we do, now we've done half an inch there, so that long tail bit that we've left, that we've locked in place, we can now cut that back. I usually leave about an extra half inch, and then I'll tie that in. And basically all I'm doing now is extending the whipped area up the handle. Right, so as you can see, I'm slowly building it up as we go along. Every now and again stop and push the cord, try and tighten it up back down the hill if you can. Now at this point it doesn't matter so much, although see, I'm knacking this up completely. Right, I'm going to unwrap that a little bit. See, I'm completely knacking that up now. See, because if I could see properly. But anyway, we've got to just do what we can. There's probably lots of other videos on YouTube which will be able to show you a little bit more clearly than what I can at the moment. Basically because I can't exactly show you how to do this properly when I can't see what I'm doing myself. I'm just mainly going by feel and what the shadows I'm seeing are, and what I know it's supposed to be doing. And I'm hoping that when we get somewhere near, we'll be somewhere near. See, no, I can't. Right, there we go. So we were starting to go back over ourselves then, which is not good. What we're going to do now is we're going to finish this. Now this is where you could really do with 3 hands. What you're going to do is you're going to take a length of a cord, something similar to what you've been using. You're going to fold it in half so you've got a loop, and then you're going to place it on top like so. So you've got a loop there. Try and make sure you trap both ends under your finger, under your thumb, right? And then you're going to continue serving, whipping around. Now it gets a little bit more awkward now. So the first one we're going to do, we're going to lock that loop in place, and then we're going to quickly continue around for about 1/4 of an inch or so, if we can manage it. without trapping the two loose ends of the loop. Just trying to keep it neat. Doesn't have to be perfect. Although it would be nice if I could get it perfect. See, I'm starting to lose control of the spool of cord. Now you see how I've got the two tail ends of the noose trapped underneath about a quarter of an inch or so, an eighth of an inch of the serving there. And then we have a loop. So we'll go a little bit further. Now this would be so much easier, now that I think about it, if I could have clamped the bow to a workbench so that I could pass the cord around rather than trying to turn the bow through the cord. Right, so we get to that point. I'm going to cut off, if I can find my snippy scissors. No, it's not them. Scissors, where's the scissors? I know they're around here somewhere. There they are. Right, they're not very good scissors, so whether they're cut or not, it's a different matter. Oh, just hack all the way through it. No. Right, so the loose end that we've just cut there, we're going to pass it back through that loop. Or we're going to try to anyway. Again, this is another job best served by somebody with three hands. Right, there we go. We'll caught the loop. And now we're going to get hold of these two loose ends and we're going to gently pull the loop through. I don't know, I hope you can see that. You see how it's disappearing underneath the whipping we've already done. It's going to pull this length of cord through and out. That is now semi-locked in place. Now there's a couple of things you can do to completely lock that in place. A dab of super glue on the end there will lock that in place if that's the way you want to go. Clear nail varnish or nail polish, something like that. You could actually use clear nail polish and cover the whole thing, which I might do at some point in the process. But anyway, so we've got 1.5 inches to 2 inches of serving, top and bottom of the handle. Okay, so that's the next stage in the refurbishment of this bow. The vast majority of the serving is done. We've now just got to finish off the handle area and the arrow pass. Right, hope you found that interesting. Hope I didn't jolt the camera too much. And we'll see you again soon. Cheers, guys.